they really captured the essence of that, and I think that's kind of hard. Yeah, I really love this movie, and I don't think that's ever gonna change.
Oh yeah. The first time, I don't remember the exact first time, but when I saw this movie, but my grandma would play this movie for me when it came out on VHS. They had bought it, and so this movie came out in 91, and it had to have been 92 or 93 when I started watching it. I was probably 3 or 4 years old. And when the only time I don't remember this, but my grandma would say the only time that she would let me say a bad word was the time when Johnny Utah is in the airplane when they're about to jump. I think it's when they're about to jump, or when when they're already flying through the air, and he says, "This is fucking awesome," or "fucking amazing." I think she said that I would always reenact that scene. But so I mean, I was watching this from 2 or 3 years old, and I hadn't watched it for so long growing up, and then she tells me that story, and I think I was like 10 or something after she had told me that, and then we went out, and I think we actually found it at Blockbuster or something, and we bought it, and then I just fell in love with the movie all over again. But this movie has been a part of my life forever.
I would like to think that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because this movie is iconic.
Yeah.
There's so many things that have been ripped off from this movie.
Yes.
Or, like the origins go back to this movie. This is definitely one of, maybe not the best, but one of the best Swayze performances, I think, with him in his prime.
Yeah.
Just doing what he does best, being a badass,
Yeah. This is actually, I want to say, probably my most favorite movie, like, ever. This movie, Point Break, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like my all-time list.
Yeah.
I would have to say. Just because, I don't know, I mean, when I found out this movie was on Amazon on Blu-ray, I had to buy it.
Nice.
Yeah. But, yeah, all-time favorite movie.
I almost forgot to mention that this was directed by Kathryn Bigelow.
Yeah.
Who, for a while, she was married to James Cameron.
Really? I didn't know that.
They were, a hot commodity.
Oh, yeah.
But my question for you, sir, do you have, since this is one of your favorite movies,
yes,
you gotta have a favorite scene.
Yes. My favorite scene is probably that chase scene when Johnny Utah is chasing Bodhi through the alleyways and through the houses, when he does get the pit bull thrown on him, and that's just a memorable scene, especially when he jumps down into the ditch and he busts his knee, and he tries chasing after him, and he can't, because he's injured, and he has the chance to shoot him. Spoiler alert, sorry, if you haven't seen this movie, I'm sorry. But he has a chance, Johnny Utah has a chance to shoot Patrick Swayze, and he doesn't, and he just unloads his gun into the air, and he screams really loud. Yeah,
and I think he tells the cops later that he missed or something.
Yeah,
and it's really because he really kind of falls for Bodhi. You know what I mean? As in best friends, you know what I mean? Like I feel like they really understand each other, because if you pay attention to Bodhi, when they first realized that that Keanu, or Johnny's character, is a cop, because they're robbing the bank, and then he sees them from across the street, and he's like, FBI, stop, but he's completely visible. Yeah. So then the group automatically knows that he's an undercover cop, and later on,
are you talking about when Roach pulls the gun out and he's about to shoot him? And then Swayze hits the gun away. He's like, no, put it away.
Exactly.
And they drive off.
Yeah. When they're outside, and he swats down.
Yeah, he swats the gun.
And I feel like he does that a few times. Even at the bonfire.
Oh, yeah.
That Rosie. Night. Yeah, he was like, I'll take care of that fucking cop or whatever. And Bodhi's like, no. Or whatever. Yeah, I feel like they protect each other. Mm-hmm. Even though they fight and stuff a few times, but they still have a mutual respect there, and I always thought that was a really cool dynamic.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So the chase.
Yes, the chase scene. Do you have a favorite scene?
That's a hard one. I really like that scene that we actually played in the beginning. Where Gary Busey kind of goes off on him. Okay. I really like that dialogue, and that sets up their buddy cop kind of relationship. That is the only kind of the big reason why the movie works. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is that nobody really takes Busey seriously until this young guy comes in, and he's like, no, like, I believe you, man. You know, like, you have some confidence, and let's work together and get these guys. And he, I feel like he kind of brings Busey out of his shell, and then we get to see the fun after that.
Yeah, so, I like their whole dynamic, because he's kind of like the on his way out type of cop.
Almost, like
almost like how it was
verge of retiring and stuff.
Yeah, and he's kind of, he said he's been doing this for 20 years, going after bank robbers. And Utah's the new guy. He's a rookie, fresh from the academy. And he is
hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like, you got this hungry guy and then this veteran, and they make the kind of ultimate team. And when I feel like when one is at a loss, then the other one has a solution.
For him,
and just like the sex wax or whatever, like you know what I mean? Like, who would have thought of that? That's cool. But anyway, there's a lot of details in this film that I really like too, that probably are severely overlooked. Like this filmmaker, to be honest, she's one of the best, not only female directors, but just directors in the game, I would think. Always doing the most intense stuff, and her execution is so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She can do anything. This is I feel like this is to have done this so early in her career, and then go and do stuff like Zero Dark 30 and The Hurt Locker, and then her newest effort was Detroit. Those are all so, like, I feel like they're rooted in the same, but they're just seem like so complicated and like hard to execute, and she kills it every time.
Yeah.
So shout out to Kathryn Bigelow.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
We love your work. It's my question, right? Because I think I asked your question back.
Yeah.
All right. Did you ever see the reboot or remake?
I was just asked that tonight if we were going to compare.
Okay.
We were going to compare these films, and my response was, the reboot never happened. No, I put it on, and man, I fell asleep. It was just fucking nonsense, man.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. I feel like they were just like pushing the adrenaline junkie thing too hard, and the opening scene is just some crazy ass heist that's just like way too high stakes. Like they shot it up, and I didn't really like them turning the surfers into like extreme athlete, like playing off the X Games culture. I didn't dig it at all. It just didn't work for me. I do like the guy that they got to play Bodhi. I don't know about him playing Bodhi, but I like that dude.
The actor,
yeah. He's in
Bright.
Oh yeah, that's
He's
right.
He's the magical FBI people.
Did you see the Girl on the Train yet?
Girl on the Train
with Emily Blunt?
No, I haven't. No, I know what you're talking about.
Out.
Yeah, okay.
You should definitely check that out. But he's in that as well. Good actor.
Yeah.
But I don't really have any kind words to say about the reboot. Just that, what the fuck were they thinking to think that they could do anything more for this film, right? It's still relevant. It still works.
Yeah.
It's great, you know? Of course, it has that gritty kind of 35mm look, but that's the charm of this. And I don't know. I feel like it's just setting yourself up for failure. But I'm going to say this. I think remakes, in the end, don't really bother me, because I feel like they just solidify the classics deeper into our culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're just making it more like that foundation more concrete. So it's like, go ahead and make a shitty
reboot.
I don't care. You know,
the original's always gonna be better.
Yeah, you can't ever erase that from history. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't take it personally.
Yeah, I saw this. I think it's one of the first movies I watched when I got HBO Go, and I didn't finish it. I think I got maybe 40 minutes in, and then I started doing something else. I think I just left the room, and I didn't get to finish it. It wasn't that I couldn't get into it. I think, like how you said, you kind of just fell asleep. And it wasn't really
the kid. Not to cut you off, but before I lose my thought, the kid that they got to play Johnny,
yeah,
just he didn't have that.
He didn't have that vibe.
You know,
He wasn't. I don't know. He just didn't have that.
There was just that was a miscast.
Yeah.
I think. It was just kind of like, yeah. Isn't he all tattooed and stuff too?
Yeah, in the movie, he's all tattooed all over the place. I think that's part of it. They wanted to be like, oh, he's edgy, and
but it's like okay.
He's got tattoos and he rides a dirt bike.
Yeah, because he's fucking like X Games culture. I don't know. It just seemed very like writers coming in that have no idea about this culture, writing about this culture.
Yeah,
not doing research well.
And even people who aren't like me and you, we're not about X Games or anything, but we're like this.
Yeah, but I mean, I still fucking skateboard.
Yeah,
I know, and that's centered around surfing, and I know the culture, but I don't know. It's just, it just wasn't charming. I don't know. Like, that's the thing, is that Point Break has this charm, and you can watch it not being big into surfing and still enjoy the hell out of this
definitely
movie, you know what I mean? And that movie, I can't say the same thing, because they're shoving down, here's this fucking like crazy what is that, like the
sky surfing or gliding,
the new called. Gliding or whatever, with the
it looked like a squirrel, like the flying squirrels.
I heard
there's rock climbing at some point. That's
what I'm saying. It's just like, okay, I get it. These guys are like,
they love the extreme sports. It's like in Harold and Kumar, when they go to White Castle, the first one, and it's that group of guys who are like, extreme Doritos, and they're like, oh, everything extreme. Oh my god, man, that was.
Also, why'd they call it Point Break if it's not really about
surfing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because it's more about dirt bikes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They don't even do they didn't even have cool costumes.
Yeah.
It's just like black motorcycle gear.
Motorcycle helmets, yeah.
Come on. Like the whole thing with the original.
It was like a remake, but they took everything that made the original cool, and then tried to scrap that, and then try to hype up all the other sports that, I mean, it was shitty.
I feel like that movie could have been called something else if you just would have took out the names.
And no one would have ever thought that it was Point Break, like a remake. If they would have taken out, just switch the people's names and don't call it Point Break, and it would have just been a movie that went straight to Redbox.
Call it Breaking Point.
Oh, damn.
What's up? Hire me.
Oh shit! You better hire this fool. Oh man.
Whose turn is it?
Years. I asked about the remake.
All right, real quick.
Yes.
We'll take another break from the original, and I'll ask you, what's your favorite Keanu movie? Would it be this one?